Hello, everybody. My name is Sean Morrissey. I'm an electrical applications engineer with Alpha Omega Product Development Systems. And in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process of how to design a rat race coupler in HFSS. So these are 4-port couplers, and they are primarily used to divide or combine RF signals with a phase difference of 180 degrees. And this can be used in applications such as a balanced mixer, amplifier, or really an antenna feeding structure. So with that, let us get started. So here I have a diagram of a rat race coupler. It's a very common coupler to use with RF signals. So as you can see, we have our input at this port, and then the next ports are a quarter wavelength apart from one another, from port 1 to the output being 3/4 of a wavelength apart. So with this design in mind, we are going to go ahead and start our file here. So the first thing we're going to want to do, as we did in the previous video, is that we're going to want to get our substrate started. And I am going to go just a little bit faster. However, I'll still explain my steps step by step. So here we have our substrate. I'm going to assign the material of the substrate to be a Rogers 4350. Now, if you have a custom material you'd like to use, go down to add material and change the characteristics like your relative permittivity and permeability, as well as loss tangent here. Once you've done that, make sure you name it and then you press OK. But for now, I'm going to stick with the preloaded library and the Rogers RO 4350 substrate. So I'm going to click OK. We have our substrate. I'm going to define the parameters of the substrate by double clicking on create box. Here, I'm going to have our origin be in the center of our substrate here. So I'm going to do, we're going to have our x-plane be the width. So negative sub width divided by 2 minus sub length divided by 2. And then we're going to start at 0 in the z direction. So sub width and sub length are variables that I have just created by writing this out. And as soon as I click off of it, HFSS is going to tell me to define it. So the unit type is going to be length. For right now, I'm going to set it to 5 millimeters. We're going to be changing that later. So here, boom, same thing for sub length. Boom, 5 millimeter by 5 millimeter substrate. Okay, our X size, we're going to want to match these to our coordinates so that it is actually in the center. So we're going to make this sub length. And then now for our Z size, we're going to make another variable called sub height. I'm going to make this 0.15 millimeters. So I hit apply. And as you can see, our coordinate plane here, or I'm sorry, our origin is in the center of our substrate. So our next step is to create the coupler itself. Now utilizing equations from Ozar, we know that the radius of our coupler is going to be the square root 2 of the characteristic impedance, which if you're aiming for 50, square root 2 is going to be just about 70.7 of that. So yours may be different. I'm going to base this coupler off of 10 gigahertz. So with that, I will, here, I'm going to go to design properties and we're going to enter these in. These two values are not correct. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the width and length I got based on those parameters. So let's go with coupler width. It's going to be length. That value I got was 178 millimeters. And now we're going to add another coupler length. I got 4.539, just about. Okay. So there we have our coupler width and length that these are going to be based on. So I'm going to hit apply, which does nothing because those variables aren't assigned to anything yet. Okay, so here we go. Draw a random circular sheet. We're going to name this coupler. You may name it however you want. Since we are going to make this an ideal coupler, I'm going to assign these sheets as perfect conductors, perfect E boundaries, and anything with a perfect E boundary, I'm just going to make this color pink. You don't have to do that. You can make it whatever color you'd like or organize it however you'd like. But for now, this is what I'm going to do. Perfect E. There we go. Okay. So we have our first shape here, our coupler. Now we want to make sure that this always stays on the top of our substrate. So sub height. Our radius is actually going to be our coupler length. Coupler length divided by 2 times pi. So that's going to get us the radius of our circle here. There we go. Actually, excuse me, no, that is our midpoint. So what we actually want is this value. This was correct. I'm going to be adding half of the width because I need to think about this in a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional plane, I suppose. This is going to be plus 0.5 times our coupler width. There we go. And I'm actually going to Control-C, copy this because we're going to make another circle here. So same thing here, except that instead of adding, we are subtracting. And then once again, just going to make sure we are staying on sub height, apply. Color for this doesn't matter, however, I am going to be naming this cutout because we will be cutting this out as the name implies. So if you have a cutout, what you're going to want to do is select coupler and cutout. You're going to go to your Boolean subtract function here, or subtract objects. Coupler will be blank utilizing the cutout, and then boom. So we have our ring. So the next step in this would be to get our actual feeds here. So we have our first feed. Apologize if you can hear the sirens in the background. For X, we're going to have this be coupler width divided by 2, just so that it stays in the center. This is going to be one of our ports. Now we want this on the outer edge of our ring, so we're going to use our outer ring formula here. And then we want it to be on the sub height. So now coupler width is coupler width, and our size we can leave to be actually we know what it's going to be because it is just going to be our sub length divided by 2 minus this fun formula. So I'm just going to protect this with parentheses and apply. Boom. You can see we have our first feed line here. And I'm actually going to change this to be pink as well. So for using Posar's model here. That is our fourth port. This is our output, one of our outputs. So we can name it accordingly. We can name this P4. There we go, P4. Okay, so now what we are going to do is create the rest of the microstrip lines. So if we're looking back at Posar's model here, we want these to be quarter wavelength away from one another. So if we don't know the wavelength off the top of our head, we can go ahead and open up HFSS wavelength calculator under the automation ribbon. We're working for 10 gigahertz using this Rogers substrate. Calculate. We now have our wavelength, which I am going to save to a variable just to make things a little bit faster here. So do design properties. We're going to add, we're going to call it lambda. We're going to make it length. And then change it to that value. That way, if you plan on changing your wavelength or your operational frequency, excuse me, you can change it within here and make things a little bit easier instead of having to redesign everything. So, okay. From here, we just got to make sure we assign perfect E. We can do the ground plane last. So here, from here, actually we want to go to draw. We want to go to duplicate and move. Duplicate around axis. That's what. So before we duplicate, the first thing you're going to do is allow some tolerance for your feed. So instead of the 0.5 we had before, do 0.25 because there were those gaps. So we need to allow a bit of tolerance for when we unite. So since we are already selecting our feed, we're going to move a quarter wavelength, 60 degrees away from P4 here. Do it again, this time 120 for port 2. And then finally once more for port 1. Okay, so let us name these appropriately. This one is P2. And finally we have P1. Now selecting coupler, you're going to highlight each individual feed. You're going to Boolean unite them. And now what we have left to do is our ground plane here, which we know it's on the bottom. You can go through and check in the properties window on your own device. Ensure that it is. So there we go, we have our ground plane. And now going to set up our radiation box. We're going to make this a bit transparent here so we can still see our workspace. You're going to want to make sure you press F on your keyboard to highlight the individual faces. You're going to want to get and hold down Control to select more than one. I'm going to select all of them except for the top, right click, assign boundary, radiation. Okay, there we go. And then from here, you're going to want to assign wave ports at each one of the edges. You're going to create lines going from these edges to the edge of the substrate here. I'm running out of time for this video. A lot of important information to cover. However, from there, you will have your rat race model set up and ready to go. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.